Hello students, in this video lecture I am going to introduce a new data structure called trees. We have seen that the data structures can be classified into two categories. One is linear data structure, another is non-linear data structure. Until now we have been discussing only about the linear data structure. So we discussed about arrays, stacks, queues, linked lists, and they are all types of linear data structures. And we are going to commence our discussion on the non-linear data structure from this particular video lecture. And today I am going to give an introduction to the trees. Before going into the concept of trees, let us try to understand the differences between linear and non-linear data structure, so that we can recognize the way the tree data structure differs from the stack and queue. So basically a linear data structure is a sequential data structure. So here all the data items are ordered in a particular manner. So it can be ascending order or descending order, but the order is clearly established. So we know which is the first item in the data structure, which is the second item, which is the third, so and also which is the last item. And when it comes to non-linear data structure, there is no particular sequential order established between the elements of the data structure. They are just a collection of data. It just comprises of collection of data, and the order is not precise like the linear data structure. And secondly, because all the elements are in sequence, we can also consider them to be in the same level. So there is a single level in which all the data present in the case of linear data structure, but where in the case of non-linear data structure we can notice multiple levels of data. So the data can be organized in multiple levels. And thirdly, it is much easier to implement linear data structure than the non-linear data structure. So it is very obvious, because linear data structure, everything is sequential. So implementing a data structure which is sequential in nature is very easy, but implementing data structure which is non-sequential, which is very complex, because we have to somehow interconnect the data items, and whenever we want to insert a new item, or whenever we want to delete an item, whenever we want to search for a particular item, it's difficult to traverse the list. In a linear list, if you start from the first element, you can move to subsequent elements, from one element to second element to third element, till you can go up to the last element. But in the case of non-linear, we do not know where to start the search and how to proceed to all the elements in that particular list, and different examples will have different structures. So there is no common structure being followed for non-linear data structure, and so designing algorithms for various operations becomes a bigger challenge in the case of non-linear data structure. And in linear data structure, the data elements can be traversed in a single run. As I already mentioned, if you start from the first element, you can just move to each and every element till you reach the last element. But in non-linear, we don't even know whether we have covered all the elements, and one particular path will only cover a certain number of nodes in that particular data structure. So we need different paths to cover all the elements. So the traversal becomes more tedious in non-linear data structure. And in linear data structure, the memory utilization is very efficient, and in non-linear, the memory utilization is not so efficient. The examples for linear data structure, which we have already seen: array, stack, queue, linked list. And here we have got the two major non-linear data structures as trees and graphs. And both data structures have plenty of applications, and we will explore the various applications of non-linear data structure while we discuss the concepts of trees and graphs. Here is an example of a tree data structure. So this is how it appears. So the visual appearance of a tree is like this. So there is a starting node which we refer as the root node, and then there are descendants for that particular node. So this is treated like the root or the parent, and these can be treated as the children of that root node or the parent node, and every node can be a parent. So a node which is a child of another node can also be a parent of some other node. The only node who cannot have a parent is the root node. So except the root node, every other node will have a parent, and it will have exactly one parent. That is also a condition of a tree, that no node can have more than one parent, and a node can have any number of children. So there is no limit on number of children for a node. It can be either 0 or it can be any number. So as you can see in this example itself, every node has got at most one parent and one 0 or more than 0 children node, and the bottom nodes which are having no child, they are termed as the leaf nodes. So the nodes that have no children or no descendants are termed as leaf nodes in a tree. And I have already mentioned that the trees have got a wide range of applications, and one such applications is in the usage of algebraic formulas. So whenever we want to evaluate algebraic formulas, tree structure is the best way to simplify that. So we can represent the expression in the form of a tree, and then we use the various traversal methods for performing the evaluation. Similarly, it's also used for under the artificial intelligence systems, encoding algorithms, and many more applications. So even an example is binary search implementation. We have discussed about a binary search algorithm in a linear data structure, that is using an array we can implement binary search, and later we will discuss that we can implement the binary search better using a tree. So that is binary search tree. We have a separate tree type called binary search tree, through which we can implement binary search more efficiently. So that is one more application for the trees. And now we have got a number of terminologies to be noted for the tree data structure. So we will be seeing the coming slides will discuss and point out a number of terminologies. The first terminology which we already mentioned is the root. So the root is the first node of any tree, and when the tree is not empty, at least it will have one node which is the root of the tree. So the minimum node that is required for a tree in order to be not empty is the root, and the subsequent nodes are called as normal nodes. So every other node in a tree is called as a node, and branches are the ones that interconnect the parent and the children. And there is something called a degree of the node. So degree of the node is nothing but the number of branches that are incident to a node. For example, in this given tree example, if you take node 12, its degree is said to be 4 because it is interconnected with 4 branches. One branch from the root node, and it has got 3 children, and for them it has got 3 branches. So totally 4, and that is also the degree of this particular node. And the degree can be further divided into in degree and out degree. So in degree is nothing but the number of incoming branches for a node, and out degree is the number of outgoing branches. And based on the restriction of the tree, no node can have more than one in degree. So the in degree for every node is fixed to be 1, except the root, for which the degree is always 0. The in degree is always 0. So the root node can have degree and out degree, but it cannot have in degree. And there is no node in the tree which can have more than one in degree. And regarding the out degree is not restricted. Any node can have any number of out degree, but those nodes which don't have any out degree are there, whose out degree is 0, are said to be the leaf nodes. Here is another example. This is what we are referring as the root node, and if you just consider the node B, then its in degree is 1, since it has got one branch coming into it, and its out degree is 2 because it has got 2 branches going out of it, and totally the degree is said to be 3. And this kind of a tree is impossible. This is an invalid tree for the reason that this particular node is having in degree more than 1. So such a node cannot exist in a tree, so it is simply a invalid tree. And we will continue to see a number of other terminologies. So there is terminology of leaf, which we have already seen. So those nodes which have no successor or whose out degree is 0 are called as leaf nodes, and nodes which are neither the root nor the leaf are called as internal nodes. And a node is parent if its out degree is more than 0, and a node with a predecessor is a child. Okay, node with a predecessor is a child except the root node. Every other node must be a child node, but some can also be a parent node. And the next terminology is siblings. So siblings are nothing but children of the same node. So the nodes which are coming from a same parent are called as the siblings. Ancestor is any node in the path from the root to the node, and descendant is any node in the path below the parent node. A path is a sequence of nodes in which each node is adjacent to the next one. You will understand these terminologies by just considering this example. So here we are given a tree, and the siblings in this example are said to be B, E, F, C, D, G, H, I. That is because B, E and F are having this common parent as A. C and D are belonging to the same parent B. Similarly, F is the parent of G, H and I. So these combinations are siblings. And descendants. So descendants of F are nothing but G, H and I. So descendant is nothing it's equivalent to the word children. So children is a general term, and we can use the word descendants also to refer to the same meaning. Ancestor of G. So ancestor of G is A and F. So all the nodes which are in the path from root to that particular node are all part of its ancestors. And path. Okay, so how do we say what is the path for a particular node? So if you want to know the path of G, for example, then A, F are its path, because again the path is nothing but from the root all the intermediate nodes which are covered to reach that particular node are said to be part of the path. And there is also another term called level. So level is nothing but the distance from the root. So obviously the root node has got the level 0 because its distance to itself is 0. So the root node's level is 0, and the next node level is 1, and these nodes are said to be in level 1, and all these nodes are said to be in level 2. So in this way it goes on. And it is clearly you can understand that siblings are always in the same level. So siblings are always in the same level, but the nodes which are in the same level need not be siblings. For example, C, D, G, H, I are all in the same level, but C and D are siblings, G, H, I are siblings, but all the 5 are not siblings because their parents are different. This is one more example. So level 0 is the root, level 1, level 2, and the root of this tree is A. Parents in this example are A, B and F, and children are those nodes which are having parents. In other words, except the root. So except the root, every other node is a child. and we can also see that B, E, F, C, D, G, H, I are siblings. So these three are siblings, these two are siblings, and these three also are siblings. And leaf nodes or leaves. So leaf nodes are nothing but those nodes which have no children or whose out degree is 0. So in this example, C, D, G, H and I are leaf nodes. And the next terminology is the height of the tree. So height of the tree is nothing but the maximum level plus 1. So it's easier to compute the height of a tree. First you have to find out the level of the maximum level of the tree and then add 1 with that. So in this example, the maximum level is 2 and so its height is 3. And there is also a term called a subtree. So subtree is nothing but some collection of nodes within the tree. So a tree is having a large number of nodes. So at any level we can take a part of or portion of a tree and treat it as a subtree. So in this example the height is 4 because the maximum level is 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and by adding 1 we get 4. And subtree is a single any single node can also be termed as a subtree. So subtree need not be collections of nodes, it can even be a single node. It is up to our the requirement. We can treat anything as a subtree. Here is an example of the subtree, and so there is a root node for this tree which is A, and when we are focusing at the subtree level, then we can treat B as this root of this particular subtree, and similarly here F is the root of this particular subtree. But this is just we are just assuming that this is a subtree, I mean this is the root of this particular subtree, but there is only one tree at for the entire tree, which is A in this example. So that rule that the root node must have no integrity is only applicable to the actual root node, but not to the root nodes we are assuming at the subtree level. So as we are discussing the tree data structure, there are also other options to represent the nonlinear information. So some of the examples are just being highlighted here. One is called organizational chart, which is very similar to a tree data structure, and this is how it has been maintained. And the next is called bill of materials, which is nothing but how the way we have the index pages of the books. So under 301 we have got the sub pages, and then it goes on like that. So this is this is an idea called bill of materials, where we are representing the data in the form of indented list. See, the purpose of this list is to hierarchify. Okay, so we have to we have to represent the information in a hierarchy, and that is why we are going for these kind of data structures. And the next way by which we can represent the hierarchical information is by parenthesizing the data, and one good example is algebraic expressions. So whenever we want to represent algebraic expressions, we prefer to use a parenthesis, because by parenthesizing we are able to establish a hierarchy. So the innermost bracket is the top one, and then the next innermost, and it goes on like that. And the evaluation of expression is also done as for the brackets or the parenthesis. So now we are going to look at a technique or algorithm by which we can convert a tree into a parenthesized expression as well as a parenthesized expression into a tree. So first we are looking at the conversion of a parenthesized expression into a tree. So here the expression given is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, but we have got a parenthesis. So what we have to do is that we have to start from the first value, which is A. So operand A is placed in the root, and then we have got a bracket, opening bracket, which means that this is a child of A. So we have to put it down. So B becomes a a child of or descendant of A. And similarly E and F are also at the same level of B, so they must be siblings. So B, E, F are siblings. After that we have got C and D within the brackets of B, which means these two are siblings and they are all children of B. So we are writing down C and D under B, and next F is having 3 nodes under that, and they are all treated as children of F. So we have constructed a tree out of this given expression, and now we are going to see the opposite, which is converting a tree into a parenthetical expression. First we will see the example and then we will try to understand the algorithm. So just consider this example. So first node or the root node is A, which means we have to write it down as the first operand, and then we have got children of A. So we have to start the opening bracket, we write down B, and since B is having a child E, we have to use add another parenthesis and put E, and since E is having 2 children, we open another parenthesis and mention them, and since they are leaf nodes, we just close the bracket, and then we also close the bracket for E and close the bracket for B, and we reach the next child of A. So C, again we have to follow the same procedure. So it looks more like a recursive process. Okay, so as we have seen, what we did for A, we repeated for B. So when we deal with A, we treat A as the parent, and when you come to B, we treat B as a parent, because at the subtree level B is the parent. Similarly, when you come to E, E becomes a parent. So it's basically a recursive in nature. So we have seen that whenever the problem or the solution represents recursive nature, the best way to implement the solution or algorithm is recursive algorithm, and that's exactly what we are going to implement. So here is the algorithm for that particular implementation. So first we have to check whether the node we are encountering is a root. So initially that will be true. When you start the algorithm, we will be first getting A as the input, and by the time this condition is true, and so we then place a open parenthesis in the output. So this first parenthesis is added, and then we invoke the algorithm by passing the child of B, that is the first child of B is passed as an argument to the same algorithm. Now what happens is, now the algorithm is called again for B, and now B becomes the parent, and a bracket is added, and then we have got E, and so the algorithm will be once again recursively called by passing E as an argument. Now it is a parent, and its children will be added as a K and L, and when K and L are reached, it will reach the base case. So it is now not a root, it is a leaf node, and so the recursive call will be completed and it will return. So the recursive algorithm will not go further, it will return to the previous function call, which means it will come to E, and then it will put the closing bracket for E, then it will move on to B and put the closing bracket for B, then it will go to the next child of C. So in this way, the algorithm or the program that you may implement for the based on this algorithm will recursively call the algorithm itself for each and every node, and the base case in this algorithm is reaching the leaf node, and the general case is reaching different nodes of this particular tree. And having completed the basic introduction discussion on the tree data structure, you should be able to answer these questions correctly. So I just leave it as your exercise. Just look at this tree and identify the answers, correct answers for these questions. Thank you.